Welcome to the second session of our complete ComfyUI training course. In this session, we will dive into the fundamentals of ComfyUI, helping you understand how different nodes work together to create seamless workflows. Our main goal today is to build a text-to-image workflow from scratch, giving you hands-on experience with the process. One thing that makes this course unique is that we don't just teach you how things work. We also explain why they work the way they do. By understanding the logic behind each step, you'll have a more profound knowledge of how AI image generation works and how to customize it for your needs. Before we jump into the lesson, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any upcoming sessions. All right, let's dive into today's lesson. Before we start building our workflow, let's clear the workspace so we can begin from scratch. To do this, go to the top toolbar, click Edit, and select Clear Workflow. This will remove all existing nodes from the workspace, allowing us to start fresh. In ComfyUI, adding nodes is simple. You can right-click anywhere in the workspace, go to Add Node, and select the node you need. Alternatively, you can double-click on the workspace and use the search bar to find and add a specific node. For example, let's add the Load Checkpoint node. This node loads the model that will generate our images. To delete a node, simply click on it and press the Delete key on your keyboard. You can also right-click on a node and select Remove. Hold down the space key and drag it with the mouse to navigate the workspace. You can also use the scroll wheel to zoom in and out, making it easier to adjust your view and work more efficiently. Now that we have a clean workspace and know how to add nodes, let's move on to understanding how image generation works in ComfyUI. Before working in ComfyUI, let's quickly review how AI models like Flux and Stable Diffusion generate images. Understanding this will help you understand how different nodes function in our workflow. AI image generation relies on three main components: VAE, model, and clip. Let's see how they work together. The process begins with a real image. The variational autoencoder compresses this image into a simplified latent representation that contains only its most essential features. This allows the model to process it faster and more efficiently. Once the image is compressed, random noise is added to it. In this process, noise is intentionally added to the latent image so the model can learn how to remove it during reconstruction. While the model cleans up the image, Clip processes the text prompt. For example, enter a cat sitting on the grass. Clip converts it into numerical guidance that helps the model shape the image according to the text. The model acts like a cleaner, gradually removing noise from the image. With each step, it predicts how much noise to remove, refining the image until it becomes clear. Once the noise is removed, the VAE decoder converts the latent representation into a fully visible image that we can see and save. Now that we understand how AI-generated images work, let's step-by-step build a text-to-image workflow in ComfyUI. This will help us see how different nodes interact to create an image. The first thing we need is a model to generate images. I'll add the Load Checkpoint node to the workspace. Why do we need the Load Checkpoint node? The model acts as the brain of the AI. It contains all the learned data required to generate images based on a text prompt. Without this, the system does not understand what an image should look like. This node has multiple outputs, including model, VAE, and clip. I'll explain how these outputs connect to other nodes in the next steps. I'll use Juggernaut, one of the Stable Diffusion models, for this session. It's lighter than Flux, so everyone can easily follow along. But if you prefer using Flux, don't worry. The goal here isn't just about which model you use, it's about understanding how AI image generation works and how to connect nodes properly in ComfyUI. Now, I'll add the K-Sampler node to the workspace. Why do we need the K-Sampler node? Models generate images by starting with random noise and refining it through multiple steps. K-Sampler controls this process, gradually removing noise and shaping the final image. To achieve this, K-Sampler needs to work with the model. I'll connect the model output from the load checkpoint node to the model input of KSampler. This allows KSampler to access the AI's processing power to generate the image. We need to tell the AI what we want to generate a meaningful image. I'll add the clip text encode node to the workspace. Why do we need the clip text encode node? AI does not understand the raw text. The clip text encode node translates our text prompt into a format the model can process. Without this step, the AI wouldn't know what image to create. For the AI to process the prompt correctly, it needs access to the model's language understanding. I'll connect the clip output from the load checkpoint to the clip input of the clip text encode. Then, to ensure the model follows our text prompt while generating the image, I'll connect the conditioning output from clip text encode to the positive input of KSampler. What if I want to specify what should not appear in the image? For this, we need a negative prompt. I'll duplicate the clip text encode node and rename it to negative prompt. Now, I'll do the same for the positive prompt. I'll connect the input and output of the negative prompt the same way as the positive prompt. Clip output from load checkpoint to clip input of negative prompt, conditioning output from negative prompt to the negative input of KSampler. The AI does not generate images directly in a pixel format. Instead, it works in a latent space, which is a compressed representation of an image. I'll add the empty latent image node to the workspace. Why do we need the empty latent image node? This node acts as the starting point for the image. We need an empty latent image since we generate from text rather than modifying an existing image. To provide this starting point to the AI, I'll connect the output of empty latent image to the latent image input of KSampler. At this stage, the image still exists in latent space and is not yet viewable. I'll add the VAE decode node to the workspace. Why do we need the VAE decode node? The model's output is a compressed version of the image. The VAE decode node transforms this into a high-resolution image that we can see. For this process to work, I'll connect the latent output from KSampler to the samples input of VAE decode. This passes the refined image data to the decoder. I'll connect the VAE output from the load checkpoint to the VAE input of the VAE decode. This ensures the decoder uses the correct VAE model. I'll add the Save Image node to the workspace to see the final output. Why do we need the Save Image node? Once the image is decoded, it must be saved as a viewable file. The Save Image node allows us to access the final generated image. To complete the workflow, I'll connect the VAE decode output to the Save Image input. Now, the image will be processed and saved automatically. All right, let's test it now. I'll enter a prompt, for example, a cat. Then, I'll click on the Q prompt button. If this is the first time running it, loading the model might take a few moments. After the initial load, the process will be much faster. That's it! We've successfully built a text-to-image workflow in ComfyUI. Next, we'll explore KSampler settings to refine and improve our image quality. Let's review some key KSampler settings that control how images are generated. Seed, random starting point. The seed is a random number that determines where the model starts generating an image. You'll get identical results if you use the same seed every time. Control after generate. This setting decides what happens after the image is generated. If set to randomize, parameters like the seed will change randomly after each generation. Steps, number of refinement stages. Defines how many steps the model takes to remove noise. More steps equals higher quality, but longer processing time. CFG, text guidance strength. Controls how strictly the model follows your text prompt. Higher values make the model follow the prompt more accurately, but may look unnatural. Lower values allow more creativity but may drift from the description. Sampler name determines which sampling algorithm is used, such as Euler, Euler ancestral, or DDPM. Each method affects speed and quality differently. Scheduler controls how the model schedules noise removal. Some schedulers are faster, while others offer higher quality. Denoise noise reduction intensity. Higher values voice more drastic changes, better for creativity. Lower values equals closer to the original input, especially in image-to-image mode. For text-to-image, keep this set to 1. To save your workflow, click on Workflow in the top taskbar, select Save As, and choose your desired location to store it. One of the great features of ComfyUI is that when you save an image, the workflow used to create it is also stored in the image's metadata. You can drag and drop the image back into ComfyUI to reload the entire workflow automatically. In the next session, we'll build an image-to-image workflow and explore more useful features in ComfyUI. Remember to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss future tutorials. Thanks for watching!